Okay, I'm live. So, this second part, I'm talking about the connection between my ability to discern, to notice that there is extracts of energy of me when I'm negotiating with lower dimensions, that they need energy to survive. And I don't mean people who depend on me locally. I don't mean anybody in person. I'm talking about the general system that is managing this organization, say organization of society, organization of ideas, organization of people, organization of beliefs. So they are organizing also the sense of self that one has. I mean, they will infuse you when you were young with a sense of self. How would it happen? It happens because your real self is slowly giving up to the external projections about yourself. It is done by saying who you are, what you are, if you're good at this or good at that. It is implied on you, it is affecting you by giving you, by scolding, by removing you from what way where you were on your natural, in social clubs, in it is happening everywhere. It is the idea of projection who you are, whether it's done by others, by yourself, that prevents you from being alive actually. The projection is built on denial. It's built on disorientation. Okay. When you fight with it, for it on the outside, that is in the life of projection, then you fight with projection. You will perhaps offer another projection that suits you better, that you feel is more fuel making. Still, the initial energy wave, or what you did then you were denied, was stopped. It was stopped then. So you have a huge bunch of movements that have been blocked by serving a projection. That is like you were in the middle of carrying the stone and you start to think it's going to be put right or wrong, and then distract you from putting it right or right. So it's like the projection about anything. People have different projections because they maintain different field of consciousness. You can say different dimension altogether, different plan, different perspective, different past, different moment, moment, different moment. The moment is built as far as conscience go. It builds on what you conscious with this current breath. What have you taken this breath? How you use this breath that you're taking now? Because you can be hysterical, you can be out of breath, and you can be doing things automatically within the sense of certain projection, thinking that you're doing the right thing anyway within this projection, but this projection is a prevention. So you are promoting, you are growing with the denial of yourself, with playing with projections. Now, who is playing with your projections? Who's playing with projection in you? And how it's down? How you maintain any conscious mind at all that is expressible, and can manifest into writing or talking. So this projection, this ability to project upon reality, take away a projection altogether or project other things, in this area at all, this area exactly I'm talking about, how to look at this breathing as means to consciousness, and how to change your consciousness, or how to allow changes in consciousness, because changes in consciousness may come from different ways. A higher perspective, a better perspective, learning of the field, learning of history of this story, of this phenomena that is happening to you, just like it's happening to other preventions, sexually prevented, emotionally prevented, socially prevented, education prevention, relationship prevention, hope prevention. In the end, it is the ability to see real big. Perhaps you had it when you were a child, but now you don't have it. It has been prevented altogether. The entire ability to expand your vista. So when you look at it this way and you breathe, while you are allowing or inviting greater expansion of your precognition, there's a first precognition was perhaps fear of what harm would cause to you because you've done something restricted, something that you've been denied of. So how can you go and release this difficulty? By breathing and allowing higher perspective. Higher perspective, you invite higher perspective. When you get higher perspective that is perhaps not yours in the first place because it's down on you, and it was so profound and so big. I mean, it takes time for you to embody it and make it yours. But the greater perspective you get, eventually you start to believe in your ability to change your perspective. That is, your entire body, your entire soul, your entire story, your not entire life gained a much higher perspective each time, and start to act in the world according to this new perspective, to this additional sphere. You can call it light body because it's more like a light sphere that is going beyond and beyond and beyond, depending how much you invited, how much expansion you have invited, and how much your learning you made from people who have expanded already. So you see how they had changed, and how had they gained of a higher perspective, more inclusive, a greater. You get into absolutely abstract downloads that will look to you like meta, conscious meta, that you now imply, you applied on reality by default of your being. Because once you breathed it, you thought it, you imagined it, you got the download, you kept it, you kept the sense of it, and you decide to that it's there to serve you, this greater perspective. So it is the power of a person to change their perspective and gain higher altitude is what I'm talking about. Okay, so thank you so much. I'm your son. Thank you. Ciao.